Violetta, an associate professor of higher mathematics, secretly dreamed of staging her play. Her double life, a logical scientist by day and an emotional author by night, created an internal conflict. The rejections from theaters shattered her dreams until she met Maxim, a talented artist. Their love became a catalyst for change. Torn between a crumbling family life and new love, Violetta is given a chance to stage her play. The choice becomes difficult, to preserve the illusion of stability or risk everything for her dream and true love. Feeling supported by Maxim, Violetta takes a step into the unknown, choosing happiness and self-realization. Her play succeeds, and her new life opens doors to genuine emotions and creative inspiration. Violetta embodies the blend of scientific logic and artistic emotions, finding harmony in a new identity. A happy woman, a successful author, and a beloved person. Her story becomes proof that dreams come true when we believe in ourselves, take bold steps, and follow the call of the heart. Violetta clenched the rejection from the chief director in her hand, the paper crinkling beneath her fingers. 5 theaters had rejected her play 5 times, discarding it like an unwanted toy. She, Violetta, a stern associate professor of higher mathematics by day and a playwright teeming with passions by night, felt her dream of staging dissipate like a snowflake on a hot skillet. Suddenly, the melody of a guitar floated from behind the trees, mournful and haunting. These sounds snapped her out of her reverie. In the park, on a bench, sat a man whose fingers, like skilled blacksmiths, coaxed sorrow from the instrument. Intrigued by the music, Violetta approached. The man lifted his head, and their eyes met. In his brown eyes shone sincerity, understanding, warmth, qualities Violetta hadn't seen in a man's eyes for a long time. He was Maxim, an artist with the soul of a poet. Their meeting became a turning point. His belief in her talent, his enthusiasm for her works, warmed her heart. He was the one who saw her true self, the one who desired not only to write formulas on the board, but also to breathe life into stories on the stage. Her love for Maxim, tumultuous and exhilarating, dispelled the grayness of her everyday life. Her husband, a successful businessman, lived in his own world, oblivious to her dreams and soul. But the thought of divorce frightened her. Fear of the unknown, of loneliness, of judgment clawed at her soul like a cat with its claws. One day, sitting on the same bench where she first met Maxim, a stranger interrupted her thoughts. He turned out to be a theatrical producer. He had found her play, captivated by its depth and emotion. He offered her a staging. It was the chance she had been waiting for. But it demanded a choice. Preserve the internally shattered married life or risk everything for her dream and true love. She knew she couldn't lose him. Looking into Maxim's supportive eyes, Violetta understood what she wanted. She filed for divorce. It was painful, but she was moving toward her happiness. The staging of the play turned out to be successful. The theater erupted in applause. Violetta stood backstage, hand in hand with Maxim, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. She was no longer just an associate professor. She was a successful author, a beloved woman. Violetta's life became proof that dreams come true when we take bold steps toward them, believe in ourselves, and follow the call of the heart. She found harmony between the logic of science and the emotions of art, becoming happy, loved, and successful. The initial waves of fame after Violetta's play premiere slightly intimidated her. Newspapers overflowed with enthusiastic reviews, audiences discussed the characters of her work, and fans awaited autograph sessions. It seemed like the whole city was captivated by her story. At home, in the quiet of her apartment where once only the solitude's silence echoed, Maxim awaited her. He had prepared dinner, and a vase of her favorite lilies adorned the table. "Eh, star, you're back?" He smiled, embracing her waist. Violetta melted into his embrace, the scent of paint and familiar cologne soothing her. It's unbelievable, as she confessed, burying her face in his shoulder. I was afraid it was all a dream. It's just the beginning. He kissed her on the cheek. Your talent is finally recognized by all. She leaned back, looking into his eyes. And what about you? She asked. Your exhibition is next week. Nervous. Maxim, an artist with the soul of a poet, was about to showcase his paintings for the first time in years. A bit, he admitted. But your successes inspire me. They spent the evening discussing plans for the future. Their once distant dreams now intertwined. Violetta wanted to write even more plays, while Maxim dreamed of owning his own gallery. But ahead lay not only rainbow-colored prospects. Violetta awaited the university's reaction. Her colleagues, stern scientists, might view her enthusiasm for theater ambiguously. The next day, holding her breath, she entered the department head's office. Her expectations weren't disappointed. The department head, having read the enthusiastic newspaper article, merely smiled kindly. Violetta Olajivna, congratulations on your success, he said. We always knew you had an extraordinary mind. And now we see that you also have a soul. Relief washed over Violetta. Her double life, which she had so carefully concealed, was no longer a secret. The next few weeks flew by like a kaleidoscope. Violetta worked on a new play, overflowing with inspiration. She attended rehearsals, interacted with actors, made revisions. Maxim prepared for the exhibition, his colorful and emotional works impressing even seasoned critics. Finally, the day of the exhibition arrived. The gallery was packed with people. Among the guests, Violetta saw her university colleagues, who were enthusiastically examining Maxim's paintings. She approached him, taking his hand. You're incredible, she whispered. Maxim smiled. And you're my muse, he replied, and they plunged together into the buzz of excited visitors. Working on the new play turned out to be more challenging than Violetta expected. The initial success weighed on her. She feared disappointing the audience, the critics, and, most importantly, herself. Maxim, always sensitive to her moods, noticed her doubts. Something's wrong, he asked one evening as they sat on the balcony, watching the sunset. Violetta sighed. I'm afraid the new play won't be as successful as the first one, she confessed. I feel cornered. Maxim wrapped his arms around her shoulders. You forget why you write, he gently spoke. You write because you have stories itching to break free. You write because it's your passion. He was right. Violetta let go of the pressure of expectations and immersed herself back into the world of her characters. This time, the story was about an artist afraid to show his work to the world. She wrote, inspired by Maxim's support and the success of his own exhibition. His paintings, vivid and emotional, found buyers and admirers. One day, as Violetta worked on the final scene, the theater director who staged her first play called her. He was thrilled with her new story and wanted to start working on staging it immediately. Violetta couldn't contain the wave of joy that engulfed her. She shared the news with Maxim, and they embraced, their happiness boundless. At the premiere of Violetta's second play, the theater erupted in applause once again. Her characters came to life on stage, their emotions and doubts resonating with the hearts of the audience. Violetta stood backstage, hand in hand with Maxim. She was no longer afraid of judgment or failure. She had found her place, where her logical mind could coexist with the emotional soul of a writer. She was happy, loved, and successful, and that was her greatest victory. Several years passed. Violetta became a renowned playwright. Her plays played to full houses, and theater critics marveled at their depth and insight. However, success didn't change her essence. She remained modest, approachable, and always open to new ideas. Together with Maxim, they formed a creative duo. Her plays often drew inspiration from his paintings, and his paintings, in turn, reflected the emotions of the characters in her works. One day, they were offered to write a screenplay for a film. It was a new, exciting opportunity, but also a significant risk. They had never worked in cinema before. Violetta hesitated. She liked the theater, the direct connection with the audience. Maxim, as always, supported her. This is a chance to take your stories to a new level, he said. We can create something incredible. She looked into his trusting eyes and felt a wave of inspiration. They agreed. The following months were filled with intense work. They wrote the screenplay, discussing every scene, every line. Finally, the screenplay was ready. Its approval by the film studio was a victory for them. Filming the movie was a whirlwind experience. They watched as their characters came to life on the screen, embodied by talented actors. The premiere of the film was a grand event. The film received praise from critics and audiences. Violetta and Maxim stood on stage, holding the awards for Best Screenplay. They had come a long way, overcoming doubts and taking risks. Now their names were known not only in theatrical circles but also in the world of cinema. They looked at each other, their eyes shining with happiness and pride. They proved that love and faith can work wonders. They proved that it's never too late to pursue your dream even if it seems unattainable. Years of success brought Violetta not only recognition but also new challenges. Her plays became more ambitious, touching on sharp social issues. Some productions sparked heated debates because Violetta wasn't afraid to challenge society. One such play was Behind the Scenes of Power. The story about corruption and abuse of power caused a real sensation. Politicians accused her of slander, and law enforcement agencies sought reasons to shut down the production. But Violetta didn't back down. She believed in the power of her work, believing it would make people think. Maxim's support, always standing shoulder to shoulder, and the wave of public love that rose to defend the play helped her withstand the pressure. Behind the Scenes of Power remained on stage, and its influence extended far beyond the theater. Violetta became a symbol of the fight for freedom of speech and justice. On the wave of success of their screenplay in Hollywood, they received an offer from Hollywood. It was a chance any screenwriter dreams of. They hesitated for a long time. Moving across the ocean, starting from scratch, competing with the sharks of the film industry was daunting. But their thirst for creativity and desire to create something truly grand prevailed. They packed their bags, bid farewell to their families, and embarked on new adventures. Los Angeles greeted them with hustle and bustle and glitz. They entered a world where dreams intertwined with harsh reality. Their first Hollywood screenplay failed. Studios refused to consider their ideas, considering them too European. Their faith began to leave them. They missed home, the theater, the familiar audience. But they never gave up. They rewrote scripts, attended meetings, sought inspiration in this new, unfamiliar city. And then one morning they received a phone call. A famous director had read their screenplay and was impressed. He saw potential for great cinema in it. Violetta and Maxim couldn't believe their ears. It was their second chance and they wouldn't miss it. Filming the movie was grandiose. They worked with the best actors and directors. The premiere of the film became a global event. The film received rave reviews from critics and millions of dollars at the box office. Violetta and Maxim stood on the red carpet, their names shining on every screen. They had come a long way from the cozy university office to the heights of Hollywood. They looked at each other, and in their eyes was not only happiness but also the same spark that once brought them together, the spark of dreams, love, and faith in each other. After the Hollywood success, Violetta and Maxim's life became like an American roller coaster. They made several more films, some of which became hits while others failed. The glitter of Hollywood quickly wore off, leaving behind a feeling of emptiness. They missed home, the cozy evenings with tea and conversations about new ideas. Once, while strolling along a familiar street in Los Angeles, Violetta saw an advertisement: dramatist wanted for staging a new play. Nostalgia for the theater squeezed her heart. She looked at Maxim, and he understood her without words. They decided to return. The decision was not easy, as they had to give up Hollywood contracts and start all over again. But they had already walked this path and knew that together they could overcome any difficulties. Returning home felt like a warm shower after a cold rain. Violetta was warmly welcomed at the local theater. Her new play, inspired by her Hollywood experience, became a sensation. It told the other side of the glamorous film industry, about dreams and disappointments, about real values lost in the pursuit of fame. Maxim also did not stand aside. He opened a small gallery where works by local artists were exhibited. His own paintings, filled with nostalgia for the homeland and the depth of Hollywood experience, became very popular. They no longer chased fame and recognition. They found what they were looking for, a place where their talents flourished, where they could create and inspire others. They lived side by side, supporting each other. Their love, as before, was the source of their creative power. Sometimes in the evenings, sitting on the balcony of their old apartment, they looked at the familiar lights of the city at night. "Do you remember how we dreamed of Hollywood?" Violetta asked, taking Maxim's hand. I remember," he replied, kissing her on the forehead. "But you know, it seems we found our place under the sun. Here, together." They smiled at each other, knowing that their story is a story about how dreams can change, but the main thing is to always pursue what truly makes you happy. Thank you for being with us today. I hope that this story has brought you emotions. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss any of our new stories. Thank you for your support. You are the best.